It's another AliExpress unbagging, and we're starting off with another toilet item, which is this equivalent to, I don't know how long it's supposed to last, but it's equivalent to the toilet cistern block. You know, the blue loo thing? I don't really know what they're called in other parts of the world, but normally it's a block of dye and detergent and aroma sometimes, and it's in a sort of little bag that dissolves when you throw it into the toilet cistern, and then it makes your water blue. This does the same thing, and the listing for this said it was going to be lemon aroma and green colour. It is not. There's no aroma and it's blue. But the technology behind it is interesting. It's nothing. Hold on, let me show you the one of the pictures in the listing of what this was supposed to be like. It makes it look quite big. It was supposed to have a little paper tab that pulled off, revealing a small hole in the top and the holes in the side. And when you see it in that picture, it looks enormous. Not this little tiny thing. But anyway, it is what it is. But the idea is that when you get it, you pull off this tab at the top, and that allows effectively water to flow in and effectively weight it down. And then there are these little dimples on the side, and it's got a picture of a pair of scissors, so I cut the top one, then I put it in the toilet cistern, and here's how it works. Imagine, if you will, the toilet cistern, and this container is effectively sitting in the cistern, and it has that sort of tapered top with the plug pulled out. And then you've got a little hole in the side here, and at the bottom you've got your dense material that is going to gradually dissolve and colour the water. When the cistern fills up the water, it fills this unit up and some of it dissolves, but because it's contained in this unit, it doesn't diffuse into the cistern as much as this one. Anybody who's ever used one of these will know that if you go and work away for a while and then come back home days later and you flush it, it's really dark, the water. It really dyes it. In this case, when the cistern flushes and the water level goes down, it drains out this hole, and that displaces some of the blue dye into the water. But also, when the water cistern is filling up again, it because it's below the top here, it flows in through this hole and causes turbulence in here. But also because it fills up quite slowly, it gets to the top, and there's still a void that's not filled with water, and suddenly the water surges down into that open area, and you get a plume of the dye comes out the top. That appears to be how it works. I have tested it. It kind of works. But would I suggest it? I mean, I'll provide the link to it. But generally speaking, I'm not impressed. But I'll test it and see how it goes. I've got blue dye on my fingers now. That's okay. Let's get this out of the way. Let's bring up the next packet. The packets came sort of pre-separated, and this one says table pen. Table pen. Not quite sure what this is. Okay, I do know what it is. It's a set of probes. It's my favourite style of probes if it's got the super sharp tip. Let's compare it. Well, here I've got my meter right next to me, with those same green tips and super ultra sharp tips. Hopefully these ones will be super sharp as well. Advantages of the super sharp tips: they hold their place in solder connections when you're probing about on the back of a circuit board while also probing around the front. Also, they're very thin, so they can get into things like surface mount components where you don't have a large amount of pad exposed. So let's pull this off and see. Oh, also silicone cable, quite flexible and soft, not rigid like some, and this is super sharp. So the advantages are it can pierce into solder connections to get a good solid connection, and also it can get into very small areas like probing the pins and surface mount components. The downside is it's incredibly easy when you're working to just stab yourself with them because you weren't looking where the tip was and you were picked something up, next thing you know, stab, you've stabbed yourself with the probes because they're very sharp. But that's a small price to pay for their functionality. I do actually recommend these. They've been very good so far. Right, I'll put them to the side and put this bag out the way and bring up the bulk of the bag. Now this bag here is what I have called the E27 collection. It's mostly light bulbs, hopefully. So let's dig it all out. Let's make sure plant light, 5 meters. Let's make sure my address isn't visible on any of them. Nope, it's not. So let's get this stuff out and go through it. It is mostly lights, but other stuff as well. Let's get this obvious thing out of the way. It's an adapter. The thing about LED bulbs is they're not very bright. This lets you get retro intensity with an Edison screw insert, and then it converts to two lights. You also get the ones that basically just branch out in two directions. But this is quite nice because it kind of spreads them, and it's one of a collection of different ones that can be 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, and even one with one in the middle and then a ring of them round it, so you can increase the intensity. They're very useful, particularly in studio type lighting with the standard supermarket type bulbs, because they do have smoothing and you can get a good decent amount of light from just one point. It's worth mentioning, well, let's check that. You get the bayonet cap to Edison screw versions, but the bayonet cap to Edison screw is not polarized. So whereas in normal electrical regulations, the outer ring is supposed to be the neutral, that can end up as the live. Let me just grab the meter here and put it to continuity. And we'll just check that polarity is maintained throughout. So here's the shell. Polarity is maintained throughout. This is good. With the bayonet cap, because it can go in either way round, it can reverse the polarity. There's not much that can be done about that. It's just the way it is. Although some companies have been forced to do recalls because of that, which is unfair given that other companies like IKEA don't appear to have done that, to the best of my knowledge. Although it was the only way you could use their Edison screw lamps in bayonet cap holders. Here is a little flame effect lamp. Let's test it. I've got a couple of flame effect lamps here. Where is my tester? Where is my tester? One moment, please. I have found my bulb tester. I might as well just leave it plugged in. So I can shove this down there and press this. And absolutely nothing happens. It's not reaching the bottom, is it? Right, tell you what. One moment, please. Right, I've found an adapter. Let's put it into the bayonet cap position, and is it going to be super repetitive? Yes, it's going to be super repetitive. But it's the flame effect, but not a very exciting flame effect. Let's see if we can open it right now and see if we can take a look inside. Oh, that is very, very basic. That is like the equivalent of one of those solar lights with the little chip at the bottom. And that circuit board is glued in, and it's going to be just basically, I would expect. I do kind of want to open this now, but on the other hand, I want to keep it for a video. But maybe I'll just open it, because that's just what happens. And let's face it, I've got plenty of material for videos. So let's prise this up from both sides. It's held in by silicone type stuff. And what's it going to be? Is it going to be a capacitive dropper? Is it going to be a little... It's going to be a little power supply there. Okay. Right. Still worthy of a video. I don't like the fact that circuit board is literally just shoved down into an aluminium housing like that. That's not great, but it is what it is. And I like the way they've got a little circuit board here that is the support for the other circuit board. It's all very cost optimized. Right, okay. Next thing. I'll put that in there. I'll just leave it apart so I don't plug it in unexpectedly with all the circuit boards rattling around loose inside. And I shall put that down there. What's this? Is this the flame? This might be the blue version of the flame effect. Oh, I'm just shredding the packaging here. Yeah, it's not even coming out. Ugh. Hold on. It doesn't want to come out. Yeah, tell you what, let's open the other end then, and then just shove it out. There we go. Right, I'll plug it in here. Odd and strangely cryptic flame effect. I mean, it's okay, but it looks very weird. It has a recurring, repeating pattern again. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they did something original. Here we go. Oh, very similar. Oh, no, but it does. So it's got a little power supply down here. Is it going to be 5 volts, do you reckon? And we've got a circuit board being used as the support. But it is the microcontroller on the circuit board material with the LEDs all the way around it. Interesting. What voltage does this operate at? I suppose there's one way to find out. Oh, this also, it's got the little tilt switch on it, so it'll operate both ways up. Let me just experiment with the voltage. Right, I've got it in the bench power supply, and it's more than 5 volts. As I turn the voltage up, more LEDs light, so the only point it's all really working on together is around about, say, 6 volts. So I wonder what voltage that power supply is. Interesting. But there we have it. It does mean, well, hold on, let's see what it does at 5 volts. Give me one moment, I'll just check that. Yeah, at 5 volts, if you were powering it from a USB power supply, it's not very bright. So if you wanted to use this as a battery-operated device, you're going to have to turn it up to a higher voltage, like 6 or 7 volts. But once you get up there, I wonder if that's a Zener diode then, clamping the voltage across the power supply. That may merit further investigation. Right, off to the side that one goes. Talking of 5 volts, I spotted that we do have another of these little projectors. With a few slides. So I'll put this out of the way. What's this big sticker? That's a huge sticker for no good reason. Let's get rid of the big sticker because it might just be for compliance with the Department of Stickers in the UK that requires everything have big stickers on it. Let's bring the little USB power supply in, plug it into it, and it is currently projecting a slightly grubby circle. Is that dust? That dust isn't inside. That's annoying. Well, that's reason to open it. Right, tell you what then. Let's put the slides. I think this is a Halloween and monster type theme. So, is it? Oh, it's. I've just blown the dust away. Does it go around this way? Right, tell you what, I'm going to have to change the lighting for this. So the first slide is castle and moon with pumpkin. Okay, on to the second slide. Second slide is scary graveyard pumpkin ghoul, or, I mean, what is that? The moon's making an appearance again, but I think it might be a scarecrow type thing. Okay, next slide. And the third and last slide is more scarecrows, more pumpkins, and another moon with bats. The image is very sharp. I'm just going to point at the wall over here. The image is very good. I mean, it's not mega bright, but you know, in a dark room, that's okay, right? Watch your eyes, the light is about to come back. Right, well, you know what? I haven't opened one of these yet. Oh no, look, does that mean I should really clean the lens? Perhaps. Let's unplug the power supply from this and see if we can pop this open. Is it just clipped shut? Incidentally, if you get one of these, the slides have they're directional. If you put it the wrong way round, it changes the focal distance. Also note that this one has a little indent there where some of them have a button that lets you choose on, off, or ramping up and down. I don't know the point of that. And there's also a little port here that could be for a microphone if they had sound activated ones. Let's see if I can pop this open. We'll take a look at the optics. Let's see if I can knock the optics out and end up just never being able to focus it on anything ever again. This might be sealed. This might be glued or ultrasonically welded shut. I've said that in the past. And as soon as I've said it, there's been a loud crunch and it's opened. This one is not going to do that. It is actually marring the plastic. Right, tell you what, give me a second. I'm going to try and open this. And it turns out that there is a reason it was glued together, I think. There is a reasonable optical source, optical chain in here. We've got the LED itself, which has multiple positions, possibly. Am I right in saying that's got multiple positions? It's hard to see because it's lit. Yes, it has multiple positions. And then we've got the collimating lens. We've got another lens just before the actual slide, and then the focusing lens at the front. I have so knocked that out of position. Yeah. That's not going to be in focus now. Right, tell you what, I want to try it in its different focal positions though. One moment. Ow, very, very hot. Is there even a resistor? There is a resistor in that. But that runs very, very hot. And it's quite hard to adjust the... I didn't see much of a difference between the different positions, to be honest. Okay, but that's what's inside these. Well, so you don't have to open yours up. Now you've seen what's inside. Some lenses and an LED. Okie dokie. On with the next item. I'll just shove that out the way with the rest of the stuff, and I'll put these slides. I guess the slides are compatible with the other little projector I've got. What's this one? This may just be a corn cob light. Is there anything fancy about this, or is it just an ordinary light? Corn cob. Ah, this might be coloured. Also, this unscrews to reveal a little buck regulator up there. Oh, I should zoom out again, shouldn't I? Let's zoom back out a little bit. Right, tell you what, let's screw this on. It'll probably short out and go bang now. And I plug it in here. Whoop, turn it on. It's a green one. Power, a bit of flicker there in camera, but not to eye. 2.8 watts. So let's say it's roughly a 3 watt green LED cob light. Okay, but it's interesting that it's not using capacitive dropper. It is just using the little buck regulator, as often found in the GU10 bulbs. Okay, on to the next item. Universal voltage, red and blue. This might be a hydroponic-y type light. Where is a knife? Where is a knife? There's a knife with a super new sharp blade. So sharp, it's not just cutting the tape, it's cutting everything. Is this going to open? It is by the time I've finished slitting the box. Ooh, that's a lot of LEDs. 2835 LED, but it doesn't say, does it say how many there are? It does. P30300 SMD, 10C, 30B. So that means like 13 parallel times 10 in series. Not sure. Let's plug it in here and turn it on. Making sure. Oh, that's very bright. It's very stylish though, isn't it? It's a nice shape. This is one of these ones that you don't necessarily want to touch the front of the light while it's on. And it is 7 watts. That's a decent power for that. What's the colour like? It's purple. It's a very strong magenta because it's a mixture of red and blue LEDs. I wonder what's that power supply this one's got. I think this one merits its own video. I can see the wires coming on from the side. I'm going to open it up anyway, am I? Yes, I am. It's not that hard to open, is it? It's got a little buck regulator down here and the LED panel, aluminium core LED panel. Will that dissipate 7 watts continuously? Probably not. It may overheat. That's just how it is, though. Is this going to clip back into position? No. Right in the box it goes then, before I break it. Might make a video about that. Might not. Maybe this will be the video about that, now you've seen the inside. What is in this grey bag? LED bulb. Okay, it's clear. The cover's just come off it. This may be an ultraviolet bulb. I think that actually needs to clip back on. Is it going to clip back on? Yes, it's clipped back on. Let's plug it in. Let's see if it's got a voltage rating. Universal voltage, look of it. Oh, that is bright. That's not ultraviolet. What the heck is that? I mean, it's violet, but it's violent violet. Hold on, I'm just going to point at something fluorescent just to test this. Right, so it is making high-vis work clothing fluoresce quite brightly, but the colour, can you see it in the hand? That it's this bizarre, it's not even straight up in the camera, it's making the hand look dark, but to the eye, it looks this bright pinky ultraviolet. That is a strange colour. That is very strange. Hard to describe, actually. What a strange colour. I like it. Very pale and washed out. You point at a wall, and it's not like black light. It is just this bright, bright, pinky ultraviolet light. Very strange. I'm going to guess that it's actually caused by the ultraviolet chips in here, UVA or near UV, causing the plastic to fluoresce as well. I'm looking at these, there's almost a pinkish in the... Have they got pink phosphor in there? Do you think is that pink phosphor in there? It's hard to say. It looks as though they might also almost have just dusted it with the slightest hint of pink in there, instead of just the solid clear gel over the surface. That's strange, but quite nice. What does this say? 1068B, not sure, 15D, not sure how many LEDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Are they just all in series? No, it doesn't look like they're all in series, but it's hard. Actually, it does look like they're in series. Okay, right, on to the next item. And the next item is a traditional halogen type looking lamp, but this one is apparently a heat lamp. Let me just assess the power rating. So it doesn't look super bright, but it is 70 watt. But what's that? It's all over the place, the power. 32 watts it says. Hold on, point at myself. That is projecting quite a lot of heat. I think it was described as being, oh look, even getting a slight shimmer off that. Keep in mind this is tungsten, low inertia tungsten. So the camera is picking up a lot of flicker that way. But the traditional dichroic lamps were designed to actually pass a lot of the infrared out through the back. And the way they did that was that the metallized coating in the back, I wonder if that goes right up to the metal frame there. I don't think it does. But it was a dichroic coating that would pass infrared. So the reflector, though it reflected all the visible light, it projected, well, I can test this for continuity, just out of interest. Does the aluminium reflector just connect directly to the... No. Is it conductive coating? Not really. Okay. But the old ones used to pass the infrared, half of it, out the back because the only infrared was the stuff that came out the front. But this one may just be standard metallization with no dichroic effect because it is designed to throw that heat out. And it looks as though it's kind of underrunning. It's not got that harsh whiteness of the standard halogen because it is apparently designed as a heater lamp. And it's described as 25, 50, 75 watt. It was none of those. UVA and B, reptile lamp, basking UV light, full spectrum. I wouldn't expect to be putting out much UV though. Interesting. Let's plug it in here and see what the power was again. Yeah, it says 32 watts. Is that accurate? Let's try it in a more advanced power meter, though ultimately this is pure resistance, so it should be reading correctly. Let's grab the hoppy up and put it in to here. So I shall plug the hoppy in and plug that in here, and then this into the hoppy. And the hoppy says super stiff socket in this hoppy. It's the anti, but it's the hoppy's little bra. Yeah, 31 watts, 0.999 power factor, which is not really surprising. 127 milliamps, and that is a very deep, warm golden glow. That is projecting a lot of heat out. That could be quite pleasant in your vicinity in winter. Okay, right. Moving on. What's the next thing? Oh, I see the next thing. The next thing is a bit strange because it was extraordinarily cheap, as so much stuff is, but also seemingly useless. Cheap and useless. Some stuff from AliExpress is cheap and useless, but worth buying because it's fun. This is USB powered and it's supposed to be 5 meters. This was incredibly cheap. Very suspicious. Oh, I can't even open it. And it is a roll of LED tape called Plant Light. And you plug it into a USB port and you put it above your lights. Oh, is this even going to come out? And it makes your plants grow because it's the red and blue LEDs. Oh, it's the phosphor coated ones. Let me plug this in. Let's plug it in, and it's very dim purple. Oh, that is really dim. Your plants are quite literally all going to die. Unless that has pulled the voltage down. Hold on, let me get my little power meter here. Let's see if it's actually pulling the voltage down in the power supply. Yeah, it's dropped to about 3 volts. Right, tell you what, let's try it in a beefier power supply, because this is 5 meters after all. Let's be fairer to it. So here's a beefier power supply, which unfortunately, the power meter is upside down and plugged into this. I'll plug this in. Oh, it's holding the 5 volts and it says 700 milliamps. Why wouldn't that little power bank must be running low on juice then? But there we have it. It's not that bright. It's sort of pinky coloured LEDs. 1 resistor per pair of LEDs, and it is cut to length. Ideal if you want pinky coloured LED tape, but to be honest, I wouldn't trust. I mean, they showed it with all the pot plants, and then a bit of this tape above it, and the pot plants all looking great, but they wouldn't. They would die very quickly without proper, decent, sort of like daylight levels illumination. So, novel as what it is. Pink LED strip, but not great for your plants. Right, tell you what was this? That was the pumpkin projector that I've completely destroyed. These can go back in here. Crinkle, crinkle. What's next? There were lots of hydroponic lamps. For some odd reason, I don't know why this has happened. When I look at the bundle deals on AliExpress now, it's showing lots of, shall we say, toys for adults holes. That's what we'll say. And I don't know why it suddenly started doing that. It showed one, and I thought, what the heck is that? And I clicked it and thought, oh, no, I know what that is. And unfortunately, it now says, well, that's clearly all you want to see in bundle deals is toys. Right, tell you what, I'm going to have to bring the power supply up again. And plug this in. Here's the mains. This is another hydroponic type lamp. I quite like them because they're a nice colour. You don't just need to be growing plants. 2.5 watts is quite acceptable, and it is just quite shimmery on camera. It is just red and blue LEDs. So shimmery. What's in here? Is this a capacitive dropper with very little smoothing perhaps? Let's see if we can open this without damaging it. Let's see if we can open it with damaging it. That might be glued in. That's annoying. Oh, that is going to be destructive. I'm going to break it. So this is the thing, I could make a video about it. I will make a video about it. Let's not open it right now. But let me shine a little light into it and take a look in the back. And spoilers, it's a capacitive dropper. I can see the smoothing capacitor and the red capacitor in there. Can you see the red capacitor? And this smoothing capacitor there. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can get up close enough you can actually see right into it. Yes, we can. So if I shine the light in through here, can you see the red capacitor in the back there? And there's the electrolytic, that's the greeny red capacitor there. Right, so it is a capacitive dropper just mounted in the back of that circuit board. Okay, watch your eyes. It's about to get bright. So I think that just leaves one item. What is this? It was, the theme was light bulbs, so presumably it is another light bulb of some description. Stick that out the way, get a sharp knife with its amazing new blade that cuts everything, including human flesh. They've gone to great lengths to protect this. Is it made of glass? Oh, it's a neon flicker flame lamp. Excellent. I had genuinely forgotten that. Look, they've put the electrode on back to front so that the two flicker flame things are completely overlapping the wrong way. Right, tell you what then. This is where America has a huge advantage with these, because in the UK, the voltage dropped across, and Europe, the voltage dropped across these goes across a resistor, and it's only about 100 volts across the neon, so the resistor tends to get very, very hot. Let's put it in here. This is a not very good one. Look, it's complete black on the other side because it's a reject that they've sold off cheap on AliExpress. Excellent. 1.8 watts, of which more than half will be across the resistor inside. So they've mounted one of those flame plates the wrong way around. The bastards. But anyway, there we have it. It's one of those, it would work from one direction, but you're going to get an odd effect because it's had a bit of a manufacturing incident at the factory, and they've just got rid of it on AliExpress indeed. Lovely. But there we have it. That is the current bag of swag. Lots of interesting bulbs and things taken apart. The little projection thing has its optical assembly. And bulbs of various descriptions. Yeah, that stuff. A worthy bag of crap. Very pleasant to dig through.